Good evening, everyone. I'm Mayor Garner. This is Unified Government, Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas. Full commission meeting. Today is November 16th, 2023. Before I call the meeting to order, I want to announce that some commissioners, staff, and the public are attending remotely via Zoom, by phone, or on site. All participants joining by phone should please mute your phones when not speaking to avoid any background noise. During the meeting, please make sure that you announce yourself by name and title every time you speak, so that the public that is observing knows exactly who is speaking. Please be sure to speak directly into your microphone so the public can hear your comments and an accurate record can be made of the meeting and your comments to the clerk. This is critical given the number of remote participants and its current guidance from the Kansas Attorney General's office. I will now call this meeting to order. Clerk, roll call.
Roll call. Bynum.
Here.
Burrows.
Here.
Townsend, we have an absence memo. McKiernan.
Here.
Ramirez, an absence memo. Johnson, absence memo. Kane, an absence memo. Markley.
Here.
Stites.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Garner.
Here. Thank you, clerk. Tonight's invocation is going to be given by Annie Erickson. She's here. You can come forward. I'd ask everyone to please stand. She's with Grand Bar Park Presbyterian Church, and after the prayer, it will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Would you bow your heads with me? Almighty God, we thank you for the beauty of this day and for the lives of everyone here. Thank you for the gifts, the skills, and passion you have endowed each person in this room. We ask for wisdom, guidance, and a spirit of camaraderie in this meeting tonight. Grant Mayor Garner, the commissioners, and all who speak clarity and understanding of the issues that need to be discussed. Bless them with a spirit of humility and a posture of learning, that they may find creative and innovative means to serve the people of Kansas City, Kansas, and Wyandotte County. And we ask these things in your name, God. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Ms. Erickson. Clerk, are there any revisions to tonight's agenda?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there are two revisions. Item number one, under the standing committee, the Kansas Speedway item is being removed at the request of the applicant. And we are adding a new item to the mayor's agenda, item number 8, which is a resolution and ordinance for debt project authorization.
Thank you. That takes us to the mayor's agenda. And item number 1 is a recognition of our budget department as a recipient of the Governance Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. This award reflects the hard work and long hours our budget staff puts in every year to provide comprehensive information to the commission and public regarding the unified government's financial outlook. I believe that this is the 10th year that the department has received this award based on their outstanding work and in providing information that is understandable for everyone. Please join me. I don't know if anyone would like to come forward from budget department. We've got Mr. Reggie Linson. You want to come and give some remarks?
Stand up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Does anyone on the team want to have some remarks if you'd like? Don't be shy. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much. We appreciate your work. I think what this really signifies is that your hard work has not gone unnoticed and is very valued and appreciated, not just by this commission and the administrator and everybody that works here, but by the people that call Kansas City, Kansas and Wyandotte County home. So thank you so much for your hard work. It's greatly appreciated. Item number 2 is a presentation from the Legends Outlets. Okay. Stacy Scheck, Senior Director of Operations and Business Development regarding current developments and security at the Legends Outlet. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hi, guys. So I'm Stacy Shelk. I'm with Legends Outlets, and when Mayor Garner asked me to come and speak to, sorry, is that better? Okay. When he asked me to come and speak about developments, construction, what's going on in Village West and within Legends proper, he asked me to touch on security as well as the growth and the sales and the occupancy. So it's all good news. I love to talk about this. So I will just kick it off with some of the really good news. Legends Outlets right now has the highest occupancy in terms of full-time leases in 360 miles, all the way to St. Louis and to Omaha. We have sales that are over $400 per square foot, which is higher than the ICSC normal. We only have 5 vacant spaces out at the Legends. I'll outline them for you. One is the old Stanford's Comedy House. We do have plans for redevelopment that would include a high-end food court and pickleball courts. And currently it's being used by the local police department agencies for K-9 officer training and drills. The old Hash House A Go-Go is on the far west side. When they vacated, they actually took all the utilities with them. So there are no utilities in that space. So it's very hard, very large space to lease. We have shown it to several national breakfast and brunch restaurants, and we do think that that will come to fruition once the apartments open. The old Christopher and Banks, they filed for bankruptcy. It is vacant. There is remnant space in the back of the Charming Charlie space. We re-demised that and opened Rally House. It is the second largest rally house in Kansas City and exceeds $1,000 per square foot. So it's really doing great at Legends. And the old Hagar space, it's currently leased with some breakout cages for storage. Because of our occupancy levels, the stores don't have enough space for storage in their back rooms. Openings that we've done in the last 24 months, Dutch Brothers opened their first store in Wyandotte County and Western Johnson County at the Legends. We relocated Tory Burch Outlet pop-up into a permanent location, paying triple net rents in a double square foot size. Boss Outlet is opening on December 1st. It is the first in the market. It's an outlet. It has an NFL partnership, and Patrick Mahomes is their spokesperson. So be watching for a visit. World of Wonder is opening in January. It's an educational toy store. Closest one is in Omaha. It is a franchise. K-Pot is opening a Korean barbecue restaurant. It's a in the table grill concept where you grill your own food at your table. There is one in Leawood. It's opening in the old Fuddruckers store. La Fuente Street Food opened. They have 3 locations in Kansas City in the old Taco Bueno store. Love Bubble Tea and KZ Ramen opened last year. Lee Wrangler Outlet opened in August, just in time for back to school. And Tropical Smoothie Cafe plans a February opening in the old Sonic building. And you've probably seen that construction happening. Deposit the Work opened in October. It's a CrossFit gym and a personal training center. It's on the west side. Legends 267 are the luxury apartments that we're building. They're nearing completion. They're pre-leasing right now, and they plan to move tenants in this winter. There's 267 units ranging from studios to 2 bedrooms. They're very high end. There's a 3-level parking garage with controlled access, and they're about half leased right now. I'm also the president of the Village West Association, and there's a lot of good news going on outside of the Legends as well. We successfully converted Cabela's to Bass Pro Shop in time for the NASCAR race at Kansas Speedway. Home Field and Camping World and Frontier Justice, while outside of the boundaries of Village West, we have become very close partners, because as we continue to grow, we don't want the community to see the boundaries of the tourism dollars. And the addition of Margaritaville, Compass Minerals expansion, Homefield Village, and the new West Patrol base for KCKPD is unprecedented growth in this economic climate. Monarchs won their 2nd championship in 3 years. They have completely redefined the stadium. The inclusion of the play areas for special need kids Evenings fully dedicated to the Kansas City, Kansas community, making sure that anyone who wants to see a game can. The Savannah Bananas set Wyandotte County records 2 years in a row. Tacos and Tequila, the Latina Festival, Country Roots Festival, and many more, all pouring sales and hotel room tax dollars into Kansas City, Kansas. Enchant is opening on Black Friday at Legends Field. They are producing this magical walk skate through LED maze in 7 stadiums this year across the country. Kansas City is outselling all of them in pre-ticket sales. The goal was to host 260,000 people, and they are now estimating that we will host over 300,000 guests at Enchant. It's opening November 24th, and it will be inside of the stadium through December 31st. American Royal continues to develop. Kansas Speedway and ISC have a huge development that will change the landscape of I-70 and 435 quadrant. And Legends Outlets leased to near capacity, pulling unleased parcels out of the ground with a "you build it, they will come" mindset, as leasing continues to turn away retailers and demise space to add and maintain sales levels with our appropriate square footage. We have a 2 parcel building that is nearing completion outside of Sticks with no tenants. That's how confident we are in the tenants that are knocking on our door. Legends Village West is the #1 tour destination in the state of Kansas. Legends Outlets host 3 million visitors annually, and the brunt of those shoppers are about to come from Black Friday to December 24th. Last Saturday, we kicked off our holiday shopping season with our 16th annual tree lighting ceremony. We hosted over 4,000 shoppers, and we had 1 incident that resulted in 1 police report. A child was separated from his parents in the crowd, and the police on property reunited the family in under 15 minutes. It's pretty great for 4,000 people. We have always provided 24/7 private security on our property with fully accessible dispatch in the parking garage. Rockwell Security has been our partner for many years, and we run 2 people midnight to noon, 3 people noon to 8, and 2 people 8 to midnight. Fridays and Saturdays, there's an extra person from 8 to 8. It is 24/7 surveilled. We have a total of 10 officers, including a security director. The working relationship between KCKPD and Rockwell Security is solid. With Village West officer added by Major Joyce, the daily partnership of Officer Evans and Officer Abbott in community policing, and the support West Patrol that we get from Captain Holloway and Captain Moses, along with any units that are always patrolling and able to stop into dispatch. I feel very, very proud of the working relationship and the minimal threats that we have at Legends Outlets. We always have, and we always will be a partner of the KCKPD as the largest asset in Wyandotte County to protect, to grow tourism, and to make sure that we debunk all of the stereotypes that we have heard about Wyandotte County for so many years. A collaboration between Rockwell Security and Kansas City, Kansas Police Department has proven itself in its growth, in its hotel and tourism taxes, in heads and beds, in new construction, market exclusive retailers entering the Kansas City market in Wyandotte County. I sat down and pulled some numbers for calls for service that are pretty astounding that I would love to share with you. In 2022, we compared 2022 to 2023 year to date. Armed disturbances in 22, we had 8 this year to date. In 11 months, we've had 1. Robberies in 2022, we had 1. This year, we've had 0. Sex offenses, 3 in each year. Stolen autos, this is a good one. In 2022, we had 25 stolen autos, and in 2023 year to date, which is 11 months, we've had 30, 22 of which are Kia and Hyundais. There are several cities in the United States right now that have filed suit against Kia and Hyundai. They include New York, Cleveland, San Diego, Milwaukee, Columbus, and Seattle. These lawsuits come after thousands of Hyundais and Kia thefts that use a method popularized on TikTok and other social media channels to aim and address this surge in thefts and related crimes, stating that it's not fair for taxpayers to have to bear the burden of the cost of the problem that Hyundai and Kia have created and have made no effort to correct. Total calls for 227, which is the Village West area, encompasses a little bit more than Village West, 97th Street to 118th and I-70 to Parallel Parkway. 8,718 calls year to date, November 10th. Is when I sat down with Chief. Legends had 1,964 of those calls. That's 23%. Walmart had 776, which is 8%. All the commercial north of Parallel, Walmart, Kohl's, Sam's, the restaurants, the liquor stores, 23%. And all commercial south of Parallel, take them all out of it, had 13%. And outside of Village West specific addresses, which includes Speedway, Sporting, Village West apartments, hotels, had the most with 33%. Chief Oakman, Overman, and Captain Fithian pulled some actual numbers from the Real-Time Crime Center for me to share tonight, keeping in mind that there have been 0 robberies and 0 shootings year to date in 11 months. There have been 419 calls to the Kansas Speedway, 210 to Bass Pro Shop, 151 to Great Wolf Lodge, 196 to Target, and 69 to McDonald's. 656 of those calls have come in and out of Legends Kansas City Dispatch Office. These can range from business checks, foot and bike patrol, meetings, follow-up investigations, etc., that all use that office address as dispatch. 60 calls per month. There is nothing alarming going on at the Legends outlets based on the sheer volume of people in a confined area with these numbers. The alarming issue at Legends outlets is the amount of national retailers that refuse to stop shoplifters, refuse to call security, refuse to utilize our police department, and prosecute criminals, repeat offenders, and known traveling theft rings. Of 66 of our soft good retailers, 39 of them will prosecute shoplifters. But more shocking is 21 national brand retailers refuse to stop, call police, or prosecute criminals. 6 retailers decide on a case-by-case basis, whatever that means. This is how theft rings and boosting thrive, how reputations and stereotypes are backed up. This isn't a secret. High shrink and welcome theft is a recipe for higher cost of goods, an invitation to criminal activity, loss of tourism, a huge waste of our Kansas City, Kansas Police Department's resources, and putting my private security at risk. Plus, it's our shoppers, it's our community police, it's thousands of employees that we're putting at risk. I am pleading with brokers as we are working on our new leases to proactively work with loss prevention, our local agencies, and set a standard of what we are not willing to accept in Kansas City, Kansas. The plan is in motion and it will be promoted as a center-wide initiative with Rockwell Security and Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. And I beg of your support.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. Don't go anywhere. If you come back, come on back. Yeah, well, there you go. That's good information. It's good information to know all the development going out there as we continue to expand on the #1 tourist attraction in the state of Kansas. And that's really good information to know that the Legends continues to thrive in the Kansas City Metro, where I'm watching, just saw out of news reports where other retailers are being challenged. And so I'll open it up. Any questions from our commissioners? Commissioner Bino.
Thank you, Mayor. I just was curious, just thought of this in the last couple days, so I'm happy to see you. Thanks for the fantastic report. In your openings comments, you had mentioned, for example, Tropical Smoothie Cafe.
Mhm.
So you're making me think, also you mentioned La Fuente. So you're making me think that Legends encompasses parcels outside of what we think of as the shopping center, correct? Like not necessarily Target, but La Fuente is in that parking lot.
That's correct. That's
Um,
correct. And that is Legends.
okay, what about the Applebee's, the Longhorn, the Bob Evans? Are those considered Legends?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, those spots, Culver's, and all of those restaurants on the west side of Village West Parkway, do they share with you like a common maintenance agreement?
Yes.
Okay,
It's an ECR.
okay, just purely out of curiosity, just thought of the question the other day and here you are. So that's really all I wanted to know, but they're in an agreement with Legends.
They are, it's actually within Village West. There's a
Village
master
West.
declaration that has a easement agreement with all of the parcels. There are 4 owned tracks
Okay,
that make it up. And then everything else is a parcel. Some are landowners and some are leases, but all of them are in an ECR, which we maintain
okay,
and they pay a pro rata share of.
okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrows.
Thank you, Stacy, for that overview. It's always exciting when we hear such good news and maybe push back against the lot of misinformation that may be going around about our community. And as I state clearly to my colleagues, we need to be ambassadors for our community. And I appreciate you making that statement. I just recently toured the 267 and excited about the opening in the density that will occur out there. That will also enhance the shopping and security out there at the Legend.
Yes.
So I wonder how you feel about and the excitement about that. All the times I've been out there, I didn't realize they had a cutout on the parallel out of the parking
Well, that's new.
lot.
Yeah, we're so excited about it because it doesn't end the traffic when the mall closes. And the restaurants will really thrive being able to serve 267 apartments past shopping center hours. I think with everything that is around there, I think everything will get a little bit better. The bus system has to get better for the people to walk. I don't know if you've seen the bus huts in the sidewalks of between Monarchs and Legends, between Sporting and Nebraska Furniture Mart. And that is really the biggest concern that Luke Draley, the construction company, has talked to us about. That's their biggest concern. The construction of the 3-story garage connects with a pedestrian walkway straight into our shopping center. They are also going to be part of an ECR. It's a separate ECR, so we will manage it the exact same way. So you won't be able to see any difference in pushing snow and picking up trash and in-house security. All of our partners are very excited for these tenants to move in.
Well, I know the growth out there has been phenomenal. I was out there just the other day and for the first time I had to park clear up at the very, very top of the parking
Sorry about that.
garage because if there was no spots available in the parking lots. And I drove around for a little bit and I kind of smiled because I can remember when we didn't have that kind of out migration into Wyandotte County spending tax dollars. So I'm excited to see the continued growth out there and the continued support that it provides for our budget through
Thank you.
sales tax. So but thank you
Thanks.
for all your work.
So are we.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Thank you. That takes us to item number 3. Clerk, I believe we have several proclamations.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation proclaiming November 1, 2023 as Extra Mile Day. Proclamation declaring November 16th, 2023 as National Women in Apprenticeship Day. Proclamation declaring November 19th, 2023 as First Baptist Church and First AME Church Day. And the last proclamation is declaring November 13th through 20th, 2023 as Operation Christmas Child's Week.
Thank you, clerk. This takes us to item number 7. It's a mayoral veto. It's the last item on my agenda. Well, next to last. It's a resolution of and ordinances previously passed by the governing body related to debt project authorizations. This is more for the commission, just Levert Murray and myself and some of my team members, JD Rios, we looked at things that were on the consent agenda that we approved last. And I'd like to, first of all, apologize to the public. Part of my responsibility as mayor is to make sure that this commission has all the information they need to make an informed decision on items that ultimately the mayor authorizes to go before them. And some things weren't caught on the front end and on the tail end. And so here we are. And so a lot of those things involved projects, I believe totaling, if I'm correct, about $200 million worth of projects. And after we vetted them, talking to our county administrator, we sought to do line item vetoes. That wasn't an option based on the totality of everything that was there. So my veto encompassed the entire consent agenda at that time. After further discussions with both finance, budget, our administrator, legal, it was determined that a lot of these projects were pretty much already far along to the point of, just to make it simple, the train has left the station. There's no way to undo a lot of the projects that are there. Yeah, you can pump the brakes and slow them down, but nevertheless, over a course of several years, these projects have culminated into what we saw packaged in the consent agenda. And it's a combination and really an ecosystem of different grants, fundings, authorizations, passed incrementally by the commission for several projects. And so here we are. The takeaway from this was that I talked to the administrator about is not just staff, but myself and my team really engaging with the commission more, as well as with the administrator more, to really look at these items to make sure that these items not only reflect the will and the values of our residents and is in working in the best interest of our residents based on what they have told myself and our commission what they want, but also items that reflect the will of this commission and the things that they have approved past, or the things that they're expected to prove moving forward based on where they stand on a lot of these items. So what will be coming before you today is a veto of the package. That is the process that I have to take to get to where I'm trying to go with only two items that we'll be looking at. And so at this time, before I actually get into the vote, I believe I have Ms. Jefferson, if you want to come forward and talk about some of those items that you had concern with.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the Commission, County Administrator. My name is Eleonora Jefferson, and I'm a resident of Kansas City, Kansas. And I'm here today because I've had several discussions during the day about the two items that Mayor Garner is referencing. One is definitely the Jersey Creek project, and the other has a concern about the sewer improvement plan that's coming out of Waterway. And I'm gonna speak from 2 points of view. From Eleanor Jefferson's point of view, I've done some research and deep discussions with Groundwork NRG, which is one of the organizations that I helped co-found. I believe I have a very good knowledge of those projects. I believe those projects will help to improve or convert that term about doing development in the older part of town versus development on green infrastructure out west. I've attended some brownfield conferences, so I feel confident about that and have a good working relationship and talking relationship with Jeff Fisher and with Gunnar Hand. That's from Eleanor Jefferson's point of view. Now, from Elnora Jefferson's point of view as being co-founder of the MBR, the MBR represents all points of view within that community, the Northeast community. And I have to be honest to say that everyone in the Northeast community does not believe as I do. Had an opportunity of talking to someone before that said, I really don't know what it's all about. Even though we've had sporadic types of community engagements, we've had signs and images, on the walls and so forth. We've had an opportunity of looking at the Northeast Kansas City, Kansas Heritage Trail and other types of projects. At large, the community does not have a good idea, a talking point idea of what it means for the Jersey Creek overflow, the consent decree, the green infrastructure, and the benefit of that. So I am here, therefore, to support Mayor Garner's thinking and his desire to veto those two items with the ask that they be considered for further and entrenched and deliberate, intense community education and knowledge. Now, I recognize, as I spoke with Mayor Garner earlier, that is the responsibility not only of our local government, but it's also the responsibility of the people who voice their thinking that they don't know anything. Because you can put the very best community engagement plan out there, but if for some reason someone does not attend, or for some reason unknown, they
1
don't like
minute
the color
remaining.
paper that the plan was put on or whatever it is, then you spend a lot of time and you're right back in the same point. So I am not a community engagement scientist. I don't even know if it is a science, but I would think that if I were going to manufacture something and I would ask you, say, okay, would you like to have these widgets? And you say, yes, I'd love to have these widgets. And I go to work in making these widgets and these projects and so forth. And I come back and say, okay, here are your widgets. And I'd like to get a check. You would simply say to me, maybe, I don't like that. I'm not going to buy. And I say, well, why? Well, I'm not going to buy because they're in the color purple. So I forgot, as the person who's selling the plan, as a person who's looking to have the city match, to ask you what it is that you need in order to vote yes or to vote no for the project. So that's what I have to say. I hope that that's an element of that. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Lawson, if you'd like to just give an overview of the recommendations and ask and obligations pertaining to the veto tonight to the commission, that would be great.
Yes, as contained in the packet, the mayor, and as he stated, vetoed this action. So the options now for the commission are, if no action is taken, the veto stands. There could be a motion to override the veto that requires 7 votes, and given the number of attendees this evening, the mayor would vote in that. If that did not pass, then the veto would stand. Next up on the agenda is a resolution and ordinance quite similar to the one that was vetoed. It has 2 items that were removed for funding, and I would call Debbie Johns to go into more information on those 2 items, but it does have those 2 items that the mayor was concerned with and removed from that ordinance and resolution.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Debbie Johnsher, interim CFO. The 2 items that were removed were the Jersey Creek Naturalization Project and the Green Infrastructure Improvements Project. All of the other items that were included are still in the new ordinance resolution.
Commissioner Bynum, what's the second item?
The Green Infrastructure Improvements.
Thank you. Commissioner Markley has a question.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm very confused. So on this, it shows the Jersey Creek project on the newest blue sheet. Am I crazy, people? Is anybody else seeing this? Did I get the wrong version?
No, that confused us as well. It is a separate Jersey Creek project.
Okay,
There are
so
t-
then I'm comparing this list to the list that was in Debbie's memo, which maybe I shouldn't be doing. Maybe I'm not understanding how those two relate. But of the items that were listed in Debbie's memo from, I don't know, yesterday or something like that, where she noted the items that were going to be removed from the ordinance, there are 4 items that are on that list that are not in here. The plant 20 biosolids, the green infrastructure, which we discussed, the PVC courtroom and the PVC community care center. I don't see them anywhere in the new ordinance, but they were noted in Debbie's memo as having been removed.
Let me simplify this for you, and council, you can weigh in at any time. The only items, if the veto stands, what is being asked is that everything you all voted on in the complete package and the consent agenda will move forward. The only things that won't are the things that Ms. Jefferson talked about, which be the Jersey Creek and the green initiative that involves waterway and Big 11 Lake. And so those things would stand for further discussion based on the request of some of the folks that live in the Northeast. Everything else that you voted on, this commission voted to approve with consent agenda will move forward as approved by this commission, other than those 2 items.
I appreciate that clarity. I'm just trying to figure out how that's what this says.
I think I can answer that. So on the list that I sent on Tuesday, it listed, you're noticing the Jersey Creek Basin stormwater improvements, and then there was Jersey Creek naturalization. The Jersey Creek naturalization project is the one that was removed. Jersey Creek Basin stormwater improvement was one of the WIFIA projects, and that one remains. And I believe that you're looking at page 3 of the resolution. Those projects there are only the WIFIA this section of the resolution talks about the utility revenue bonds, which is if we issue the WIFIA projects, they would be issued as utility revenue. So that's why they're listed in this section. The other general obligation section was the larger packet. And I apologize for this meeting. We did not have a new packet, but we will get that provided. We did not print a new packet, but we did remove the 2 projects, the green infrastructure and the Jersey Creek naturalization from this packet.
So the full list would be this separate exhibit A.
Right.
That isn't there.
That's correct.
Perfect. That's what I needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Bono.
Thank you, Mayor. Could I just have, please, perhaps someone from Public Works, the 2 items removed from the new resolution, Jersey Creek naturalization and green infrastructure improvements. If I could just have someone from Public Works just give us a brief rundown of what those are. And Mayor, I believe our conversation prior to the meeting was, we're just going to look at those separately at a later date, possibly to bring them back. Okay, thank you very much. But if I could just, maybe for the public's benefit, what are these projects? What were they intended to do for the community?
Yes, sorry, Sarah Schaefer, Public Works. The Jersey Creek Naturalization Project is a partnership with the Army Corps of Engineers for the naturalization of Jersey Creek through a corridor of the Jersey Creek space. So it is, we will be bringing it back to you all in order to have that as a separate resolution as we develop the project further per the request of the community. And
so just to interject there, it's a naturalization project. So that tells me that it's going to return it to more of a natural environment. I don't want to misspeak. I want to understand.
yes, so basically, it is a restoration, an ecosystem restoration project. In our budget, it's $1.5 million over the course of a few years.
That one was 1.5 million.
Yes.
Okay, and then green infrastructure, please.
Yes, our green infrastructure improvements, those are in support of our stormwater and CSO projects. It's approximately $7 million across Jersey Creek. And with that being removed, we'll bring those back for consideration as well as they are fully developed.
Okay, thanks. And that was kind of multiple things.
Correct. And
Okay.
that's that. We started an investigation on it in 2019 and 2020. So we approximately have 6.9 of 7 million, we'll call it, for good favor remaining in that budget that will be returned and will no longer be eligible for use with the veto.
Thank you.
Commissioner, if I could just weigh in on part of that, some of the folks that I talked to, especially with Jersey Creek, they had concerns. I'm not sure, maybe Mr. Fisher, you can tell. I don't know, but I know a lot of work, engineering thought went into the building of Jersey Creek to basically take it from a swamp. They were mosquitoes, settling water. There was stench coming from the creek at one time. There was a lot of engineering that went in it. It concreted it, floated, and from my understanding, into the river. I believe that's where it goes, or to some basin. And so the concern was the amount of money and time and energy and thought that went into this in previous years, and to tear it up and return it back to its natural state of what was filled in to make it a creek. And I believe there's pathways and walkways and other things that are attached to that. That was concerned to some in the public as to why and what would be the benefit. And some view it as a dismantling of needed infrastructure during that time before all of us were here. And that era of leaders thought that it had some value. And I think along with Miss Jefferson's and the group she talked to today, the concern is why now? And as opposed to upgrading Jersey Creek and providing beautification and of those sorts, why return it to a natural state that was decided years ago that needed to be corrected with creating a more solidified Jersey Creek to channel the water to a certain point of exit.
Yeah, I understand, Mayor. It does happen on occasion where use engineering principles of the past, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And you find out over time that those don't work as well as just letting Mother Nature do its thing. So I understand the concern. And if Ms. Jefferson has concerns with people's understanding of the project, then I'm concerned. So we have a great relationship, and we'll do the work to figure out what the community desires, and then we'll make things happen.
Thank you. Commissioner McCarron.
Thank you, Mayor. I know this has been said out loud, but I'm a really simple man, so let me just make sure I understand this. Approving item number 7 will veto all of the debt project authorizations previously approved in the consent agenda. And then approving item number 8 will reapprove all of those debt project authorizations except the 2 that we have broken out and have identified to be considered at a later date. Is that correct? Thank you.
Council.
Almost. Item 7 is the veto, which has already occurred. So right now, those items have been vetoed. The commission will need to decide if they wish to make a motion to override the veto. If no motion is made, then the veto will stand. If the motion is made and it fails, then the veto stands. Only if it's overridden will all those items come back. If that does not happen, then we move on to item 8, which is, as you described, the 2 items have been removed, and the commission will have the opportunity to vote on the new ordinance and resolution of the authorization with all the projects except for the 2 that were mentioned.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. I was assuming that item 7 would stand.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Burrows.
Thank you. With that in mind, the original resolution has a price tag in it. Is there the total amount of dollars mentioned in that resolution, council? And the reason why I ask is because if we go into item number 8, then we're talking about removing close to $10 million out of that. And I would hate to, I just want to know if we're going to go ahead and bond it and fund it and then go back and review it and implement it. But if we don't bond it, then we need to review it, then pass another resolution to put the money in. I'm just kind of curious to that's what I'm trying to ensure that whatever we do it correctly. If I'm hearing correctly, we need to pull those 2 items out, financial support for those 2 items, and put that new total in with the new 2 items, should they come forward at a later date with a new resolution.
So my understanding, and this is great clarification, my understanding is once it's vetoed, then we will have to come back to the commission for those 2 projects. We will then request approval of those 2 projects and it will be budgeted in a later year. So it would have to go through the process of being approved and put into a budget at a later time. We would not be eligible to pull funding or consider funding for these 2 items utilizing debt during this particular budget year.
Great.
Yes,
Yeah.
the amount in section 3 has been amended to reflect a lower amount. It was about 107 and now it is 106. So those have been removed. They would, as stated, have to be brought back for reauthorization.
Great, thank you. I just wanted that as a point of clarity. And so I hate to beat a poor dead horse, but the question I have, if we choose to take action and override this veto, then the entire all the bonding resolution stands. If we sustain his veto, then we come back with the new resolution number 8. And that will include the minus the 2 projects to be considered a lesser date. Great, thank you.
When everything goes.
Yeah, that's a difficult one to understand, committee. I just want to make sure that we're on it. So, okay, thank you, council. Thank you, body.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Fisher. We have Ms. White. I didn't see you. I know you were part of the comments. If you wanted to make comments, you're more than welcome.
Carolyn Wyatt, 359 True. I lived in this area all my life. When the old Jersey Creek was there, when they had the Princess Theater on 5th Street, and you had to walk across that bridge to the theater, and it smelled so bad that you had to walk on the other side of the street. And once it was concreted and fixed, you didn't smell that stench anymore. So the whole area was smelling, and young, you not knowing what it was all about. But as you got older, there was Jersey Creek that was smelling all the sewer and all the bad stuff in there. So now it looks nice. They have lights down there. You can walk through there. You can walk next to it. And so it was a good thing, so that'd be a lot of money that was wasted, if they tear it up. And so, and a lot of people kind of like what it looks like. They have an area where you can play basketball up there, and you have houses around, and it like you say, it was improvement. So you don't really want to go backwards. You always want to go forward. So like I say, I always lived in the area, and I still live in the area. And, so I'm just saying that it was a real improvement. I don't think that it needs to be torn up and spend a whole lot more money that we don't have. So just want to say that I agree with the mayor that in the neighborhoods that, they like what's going on. Also at Big 11 Lake. Also, I've been around there all my life also. And it's a beautiful place. And it's right there next to Beatrice Lee. And it's been there for a long time. And they had pastors that always took care and make sure that the lake stayed nice, mold and everything, greenery. So my comments about it, that I think everything should stay right now as it is. Into future, when we do have money that you can do something, or more investigation, because everybody don't really understand everything about what's going on. So we just need more information about things before we get into it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis.
Thanks, Mayor. Ms. Joncher, I just have a few questions for you. What is the relationship between these bonded packages and then kind of this CMIP in the budget that we adopted about 6 weeks ago?
The Debbie Johnson, interim CFO, the CMIP, all the projects listed in the capital section, when the budget is approved, that gives us budget authority to proceed with the projects. We list them out by both cash and debt. The debt projects are the ones that are in this authorization that when we approve them, we say that we intend to issue debt to pay for those projects. So then the next step is getting the project authorizations needed for debt issuance. So, and that's the step that we're doing tonight. Previously, this had been included in the budget document. And it was approved. The resolution was included with all the other approvals that were done with the budget. So this authorizes the projects to be paid for with debt.
And you said previously it all had been done together, meaning when we adopted the budget, we would also.
Right. For the last several years, we've done it that way.
Okay, but this year
Yes.
we've done.
This year
differently.
with our staffing capacity, my office just didn't have time to get the resolution and all of the authorizations in place to get them into the budget document. So we had to come back after the budget.
So our budget calendar, remind me, what's our fiscal calendar? Is it October to October? Is it?
It's January through December.
It's January through December. So if we were, let's say it takes a little bit more time to go ahead and kind of work with the community for these projects, would these projects that the mayor is wanting us to take out, how would that impact the budget that we adopted?
Those projects are still in the budget, so they have budget authority. When we pull those two projects out, we no longer, and we don't approve the authorization, we don't have the ability to finance them with debt. So
Gotcha,
that
we would have to
be-
use cash or. it
You would have
just
to use
wouldn't happen.
cash or not do the project.
Okay, and then can you remind me, last question? And let's just say we go ahead, we adopt this, what is the next step to getting these projects bonded? What's the rest of the process after we vote on this particular?
For the rest of the projects, or the two
Yes.
that were, for the
Yeah.
rest of the projects, what we would then do in December is bring a sale resolution showing the projects that we intend to finance in the next debt issuance, which occurs and will need to occur in February. We have a 1-year temp note that's about $50 million. It's scheduled to be maturing April 1.
Mhm.
So we need to be able to issue financing to cover the projects that have been spent within that temp note.
Gotcha. Thank you, Mayor.
And Debbie, if you could act a clarification, we have in the past had more than one debt issued during a fiscal year, correct?
Yes, we have. Previously, we used to, probably about 10 years ago, we used to do one issuance in the spring and then we do another issuance in the fall. But mostly we've been doing one issue, but then if a special situation comes up, we've been known to issue them in the fall also.
So if after we have good community engagement with the folks in and around this service area, and we come back to the commission, they can provide more authorization for debt financing to cover these two projects.
Right, we would just simply need to authorize approve the
Right.
project authorization and sale resolution to be able to issue another temp note.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Administrator. Commissioner Burrows.
Thank you, Mayor. In light of the request by the public to review the two other items, I'll make it, and it saves our budget money at this particular time. It allows us to go back and review the budget situation later on in the year. In light of that, I'd make a motion that we adopt item number 8.
Second.
Okay. Is there a motion on 7 before we get to that?
Mayor, if I may, then I'll remove my motion and I'll renew a motion if provided my second allows me to do.
To be clear, there does not have to be a motion on 7. There can be, but there needs to be an opportunity for the motion.
Okay. I guess, go ahead, Mayor.
Is there a motion on number 7? Seeing none. Okay, Commissioner Burrows.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll repeat my motion to adopt resolution number 8, ordinance debt project authorizations.
And Stites, I will also.
Okay, thank you. Is any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk roll call.
Roll call, Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
The vote is 6-0. The motion carries.
Okay, thank you. That takes us to our next item, item number 8. It's oh, I'm sorry. That was our last item. I'm sorry. We're at the consent agenda. Do any members of the commissioner or county administrator wish to set aside any items on the regular consent agenda? If an item is not set aside, all items on the regular consent agenda will be voted on by one vote.
McKiernan, move to approve all as submitted.
Dave, second.
I'll accept those motions and the second. Any further discussion? I'm sorry, Commissioner Stites.
And I mean this kind of tongue in cheek here, but has it been fully vetted? So we don't have a veto and a little while later.
Yes, it has. Thank you, Commissioner. Yes, yes, yes. Lesson learned. It's been vetted. Yes. You all can make an, you all can make an informed decision with this one. So there's a motion and a second. Clerk roll call.
Roll call, Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 6-0. The motion carries.
Thank you. That takes us to the standing committee's agenda. I'm sorry, that was removed. Thank you for reminding me of that at the request of the applicant. So that takes us to the administrator's agenda. And it's the appointment, voting delegates for Kansas Association of Counties. It's the only items on the administrator's agenda. And it's approval of voting delegates to Kansas Association of County 48th Annual Conference and Exposition. I'll turn it over to our administrator, Mr. David Jones.
The Kansas Association of Counties is the member group that represents county interests on many different fronts. They are paying attention to legislation before the state legislature, often testifying on the county's behalf on impacts of state potential laws on counties. They also provide significant training opportunities for elected officials and staff. And there's a few other important services that they provide. Each year they have an annual conference. And at that annual conference, the members do get to vote on various agenda items that are proffered by the executive committee of the Kansas Association of Counties. And it's one way that the wider membership throughout the state get to put their imprint on the business of the association. We were given opportunity to provide 3 delegates, 1 voting delegate and 2 alternative delegates, since we were having 3 people attending, myself and Bridget Cobbins, our assistant county administrator, and our new director of public health, Dr. Elisha Caldwell. We will be attending. So what we're asking the commission to approve me as the voting delegate. Dr. Caldwell is first alternate, and Ms. Cobbins serving as second alternate.
Markley, move to approve.
Davis second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk roll call.
Roll call, Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 6-0. The motion carries.
Okay, Administrator, you have one more?
Yeah, one more announcement. I am pleased and privileged to let you, commission, and the public know that I have hired our interim fire chief, Dennis Rubin, to serve as Kentucky. Starts with a K. That's where I came from. The Kansas City, Kansas Fire Department's full-time fire chief starting January 1, 2024. And I do want to add that part of this process, we have had meetings with the fire union and had considerable conversations with a few of the men and women of the fire department. And they are impressed with the leadership and the opportunity to really build the fire department into a 21st century fire department. And we are fortunate that when Chief Rubin was asked, well, do you want the job? He said, give me a day. Came back another day and said, I'll take it. I like what I do here. I like the men and women who are in the department. And we are having an effective working relationship in the fire department. How could I say no?
There you go.
So he's accepted. Welcome aboard, Chief.
Chief, come on up.
Mr. Mayor and commission members, along with our county administrator and of course our public, thank you for what a great opportunity. When I arrived on June 1st, one of the very first things was to spend about an hour or two with the county administrator and of course with my new boss, the assistant county administrator. And what was mentioned that day is that if you'll love Kansas City, Kansas, it'll love you more back. That was a pretty powerful statement that the bosses made. And, you know, they were right. What a great community this is. What an honor it is here to be the 18th fire chief of simply a great organization of men and women that go out every day to help this community. So I pledge that I'll do my very best to continue the direction that we're going in, to serve folks with dignity and pride. We have a very simple mission statement, and that is to prevent harm in the community, for us to be able to survive and thrive as a community, and then finally to be nice and be kind. So I pledge that we'll continue on that path. And again, thank you for the confidence.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. I can say, Chief, Administrator, and Commission, before I became mayor, there were a lot of challenges that the fire department was facing. I can say that this commission has really took unprecedented actions to make sure that the morale of the fire department was brought up. That started with really directing the interim administrator at that time to get the men and women of our fire department a contract that not only they wanted, but they deserved after 5 years. That happened. And then next, what has happened under the leadership of our new permanent administrator is leadership at the helm that just my dealings with the men and women of the fire department that I've talked to, they respect, they value, and they really appreciate the leadership and the new type of vision and eyes that you bring to the fire department. And the people I've talked to said you have their utmost respect and confidence. And I wanted to share that with you. The third note I should say is, and I don't know if I can say this or not, but I'll put it out here anyway. This commission took the another unprecedented act to open fire station in Fairfax. And as a result, I can tell you that there is a major, and just use your imagination, there's a major taxpayer in Fairfax that is looking at next year of upwards of a $500 million investment in the Fairfax area. And I can tell you, the feedback that is coming to me, believe it or not, is because of the result of this commission's resolve to say, let's open that fire station. That showed a commitment to Fairfax and those businesses and the fire department. And that was based off the recommendations of the men and women of the fire department. And we are seeing 1,000% potential return on that investment. So thank you. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you to all our public safety servants out here that are working hard to keep our community safe. Thank you so much and
Mr.
welcome.
Mayor and team, we won't let you down.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, with no further business, before this governing body, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Markley, move to adjourn.
McKiernan, second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Clerk, roll call.
Roll call, Bynum,
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan,
Aye.
Markley,
Aye, but I think Chuck wants to stay for a few more hours.
Stives, Davis.
Yes, aye.
Motion carries. We're adjourned.
I can say with adjournment, tomorrow is the mayor's Christmas tree lighting at Memorial Hall, 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock